So who has a question?
Spock does over there.
All right. Okay, well, there's a hand right in front of me, and that person is dressing Spock, so let's go. You can shout it out, I'll hear you.
If I may inquire, what made the decision to leave the eyeshadow?
We didn't actually leave the eyeshadow, we just sort of toned it down a little bit. But there is, if you look closely, there's a little bit of it. But you'd have to talk to Dave Anderson, our makeup head, because he made all those important decisions. Like how blue will the eyeshadow be? Good question. Who else? Somebody over there. Hey.
Good.
It's good to go. It's good to go.
So I just wanted to say that you're like an amazing actor, and I really appreciate your work. My question is, like, how do you prep yourself for different roles, like going from Dr. Thredson to Spock?
It's different. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing a movie or a TV show or a play, my process is different for everything. I find film and television tends to be a lot more about instinct and a lot more about moment-to-moment choices, and being in a play, which I'm actually doing a play right now, doing The Glass Menagerie in Broadway. So if anybody's in New York between now and the end of January, come see me in the Glass Menagerie at the Booth Theater. But you know, they're all very different because in a play you have time to craft and to explore in rehearsal a process and build a performance, whereas in film and television you have much less time to rehearse, and it really tends to be much more about serving the writing, especially in television, because you're turning over episodes every 8 days, and you inevitably get backed up, and especially with a show like American Horror Story or Heroes, both of which are very technically complicated, and there's a lot of stunts and makeup effects and stuff, so then that becomes its own thing. And then from there, it's just about
My microphone doesn't work. The screen's what I'm doing.
I just stopped recording.
So then from there, it's just about and you know, crafting a performance based on what the character's essence is. So for Spock, you know, and Siler and Thredson, they're all just very different, you know. I don't know. That was a bad answer, right? Good answer? All right. Yeah. Who else?
Hi, over here.
Where? Over there. Okay. Hi.
Hi, thanks. Big fan since Hero Season 1. My question is maybe a little bit on the heels of the last one. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I'm sure everybody in this room saw Star Trek Into Darkness. And my question is about the iconic scene, of course, where you, instead of the previous iteration, say that name. It was such an incident.
Okay. Way to preserve the spoiler. Something tells me that wasn't the end of your question. Why did you take the microphone away from me? How did I prepare for it, you ask? Well, it's not hard to prepare for something like that when, you know, we spent that whole day doing that scene leading up to that moment that you're talking about, where my character yells the name. So the day was really intense because we spent hours and hours in that scenario where, you know, someone who I'm incredibly good friends with in real life and whose character, my character, is incredibly good friends with in the world of the movie, appears to have expired. And that is unsettling, and so, you know, we spent a lot of time building up to that moment, and the expression of anger and the need for revenge and all that stuff came out of the work that we had been doing all day. So ultimately it wasn't that difficult. The most difficult thing about that scene was that we were shooting in a converted warehouse, basically, probably a space at least as big as this room, but with ceilings probably about 2 times or 3 times as high, like just this cavernous. It was where Lindbergh built his airplanes, like it was like his airplane situation. And there were birds in the rafters of the place, so in the middle of this very intense but very quiet kind of intimate scene, we had to contend with like for hours, and they brought in actually like birds of prey to scare the little birds from chirping. They would like between takes they would do foghorns and air horns in order to scare the birds into silence, which didn't work very well. So that was probably the biggest challenge of that whole experience, was contending with the little like swallows that were up in the rafters, I guess. But yeah, there's that. How about front row right here, because you don't have to use a microphone. Yeah. Behind the scenes, interesting stories about working with Benedict Cumberbatch. Wow, you guys are here for me, not for Benedict. Well, Ben's a great guy, and enormously talented actor, and the great thing about working with Ben is just that there's such a familiarity and such a common language. We both come from the theater, and I would say just that epic battle that we had at the end of the movie was probably the thing that I'll remember most from the whole shoot. It was like an 11-day sequence that we shot over a few weeks, and it was really intense and kind of unrelenting in its brutality, and we had to just keep going and just fight all day. And so you bond with somebody over something like that, and I would say that's probably the thing that working with him I'll take away from the most. But we're great friends. We see each other all the time. Whenever one of us is in the other one's city, we always hang out and find time to catch up. So it was all good stuff. I wouldn't say there's anything uproariously funny that I can share with you, other than just sort of day-to-day humor that probably wouldn't translate. I don't know. You'll have to buy the DVD. It comes out in a couple of weeks, I think, or something, right? Okay. Yeah, sure.
It's kind of awkward question as well. Could you explain the prank you guys played on Benedict?
Well, the prank we played was not only on Benedict. It actually started on Anton. Chris and Simon were in the makeup trailer one day. We were shooting the last 10 days of our movie up in this, it's called the National Ignition Facility in Northern California, Livermore, California. And so Chris and Simon got the idea to pretend that we needed to apply this neutron cream to preserve us from the exposure to radiation that was possible in this place, which wasn't obviously possible. And so they made Anton do it, and then once they would get somebody, then that person was in on the joke, so it became a cumulative thing. So it went from Anton, or first it went from Simon to Anton, and then I think it was me, and then it was Zoe, and then it was Benedict, and then it was the last two. Has Carl ever been doing one of these panels? Yeah. So make sure you ask Carl about his experience, because he and John Cho were the last ones, and Chris and I wrote this whole PSA. We like literally wrote it out on cue cards, and we had them read it and record it. Like, this is going to be. I think that's going to be on the DVD. Like the whole sort of thing.
Oh my God.
That was really fun, and everybody had. So Benedict's version of it was they made him sign a release form. So, and then at lunchtime they made him read it out loud to the entire crew, and in the middle of it, it was like, I understand that this is completely untrue, and this is a big joke, and he had to read it out loud, and it was really embarrassing. That does tie in, right? Now you got your answer, and you got your answer. Perfect.
Where?
Yeah, where? Hi.
Hi. Would you be more scared to run into Oliver Thredson or Siler in the dark alley in the middle of the
What are you talking about? I didn't drink both of them. I love those guys. If I was in a dark alleyway, I think I would probably be more, I don't know, that's a good question. I'd probably be more scared to run into Siler in a dark alleyway. I don't think I'm Thredson's type. Who else? You obviously got the next question, buddy. What's up? Is it what? What about it? Is my favorite movie Star Trek? My favorite movie is Star Trek. Am I choosing the people or are you guys choosing? Alright, this guy's chosen this gal, so we'll go over here.
This is really, sorry. So your acting work is really inspirational, and for someone who's wanting to come out into the acting industry, what would be your one big tip?
Good luck. My one big tip would be specific about what you want and never back off. You know, like it's such a long road, really. I mean, I lived in LA and worked as an actor for 8 years before I got Heroes. And there were many times in that 8 years that I thought, like, well, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. And then sticking with it is really the biggest part of it, I think, you know. Perseverance in this field is something that you can never be underestimated. And the interesting thing is it never gets easier, you know? You think like, oh, I remember thinking like, oh, well, all I need is one big job, or all I need is to be, you know, to be successful or get that gig, and then I got it, you know? And then it still didn't get that much easier. It's like, it's a very interesting thing that, you know, you always have to have a strong sense of self, separate from your work, I think, and never really give up on what you want to accomplish. And then you'll definitely get, you know, more likely to accomplish it. Thank you, good luck. I meant that part. I don't know. Yeah. Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you have any confirmation about Heroes being renewed? And even if you don't, would you reprise your role as Siler if you were asked?
You guys, I love how enthusiastic you are. I was showing off the air like 6 years ago. No, I really do love how enthusiastic people are about Heroes, and I've been asked this question a lot because I think there was some kind of news rumor that there was maybe going to be a resurgence of the series on like Xbox or something. I remember. I don't Netflix. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Tim Kring in quite some time, but my instinct is it won't happen. I mean, all of us have moved on to other things and, you know, are really busy. And if it did happen, I think it would happen with a different cast, you know, different characters. I don't think that I would ever go back to that. Myself personally, I had an incredible time. It defined so much of my journey as an actor from that point forward, and I'm so grateful to it. I had the best time working on that show. I love that character. I love the people that I got to work with. But it's that kind of feeling of like, you know, it's a chapter that is closed a little bit, you know, and that I've moved on to other stuff, and I'm hungry to continue to do that. So my instinct is it's probably not going to happen, but, you know, don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. I'm not the one to decide. Yeah, thank you. Let's go to this side of the room now. Who's over here that wants to talk about things in the world? This guy right here with his hand up. I don't think that would be, I think I would be like attacked if I turned up in the Star Wars franchise. No, I don't think so. I was just with him for an extended period of time in Japan. I imagine if he had any inklings toward that, he would have probably floated it out. And I don't think that I could do it. I really don't, actually. I don't think I would do it. And I don't think that he would be interested in sort of cross-pollinating in that way. Because we're going to be shooting our third movie probably. Don't quote me on this. But sometime next year, so I imagine there would be some overlay and I wouldn't be able to do both anyway. But no, I don't think so. Sure.
In all of your press junkets, all the talents and everything, is there anything, any topic, any questions that nobody's ever asked but you really, really wish they had?
No. I don't think so. I mean, people have pretty much asked everything, or I'm glad to have it. One or the other, I think. Let's go green shirt there in the back. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. You.
Okay, what are some of your core beliefs or key beliefs, like philosophy-wise or whatever, that have helped you through life?
Oh, well, there's a question nobody's asked me before. What are some of my core beliefs, my core philosophies that have helped me? Oh, wow. Well, I believe that, it's a tough one. I believe that that's a tough one. I believe that you get out, you get back what you put out in the world. I'm a big believer in treating people with compassion and respect, and I believe that's the only way to treat people, actually, unless they treat you differently. I believe in striving for authenticity and really journeying within to understand myself and to accept myself on as many levels as possible. I truly believe that the universe will support you if you're specific about what you want. I believe in a spiritual interconnectivity that has been proven to me in my own experience time and time again, that the world just offers things that you are open to. So the more open you are to the world, the more that will present itself to you, I think. And I said it to the young lady who asked about, being an actor, like specificity in terms of what you want in your life, I believe will help yield it more. What else? I don't know, I believe in having fun. I believe in living as hard as I work, and not taking anything for granted, ever. Not one single experience or one single moment, or I try to stay as aware of how lucky I am all the time in every moment that I'm experiencing, because it could go like that for any of us. What else? I don't know. What do you believe?
Well, yeah, it's like... okay, Mr. Spock, I believe... I believe pretty much what you
You believe what I believe. Awesome. Good. How about that person waving their hand way over there in the hat? No, that person that just stood up. Yeah, you that just stood up. You. That, yeah. How do I feel about the lack of homosexual characters in the Star Trek universe? Oh, God. I'm more interested in the abundance of actual homosexual people in the world who are willing to stand up for who they are and what they believe in, and for living a life that's true. I mean, yes, absolutely, characters can reflect the social world that we live in, and I believe that we will see that in the Star Trek universe. But honestly, I think the fight is more on the ground than in the fantasy and the fiction, and for me it's about visibility, it's about standing up, it's about taking responsibility for unifying our society and leveling a playing field so that everybody has the opportunity to live with their own integrity and their own happiness, and that's more important to me, actually, and that's the life that I try to live. But thanks for your question. What's up, girl? Sure.
Is there any role, anyone, in past or in the future that you would love to do?
I want to play Sweeney Todd in the musical Sweeney Todd. Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do, because Sweeney Todd was the first. It was the first time in the theater when I was a kid. I saw Sweeney Todd when I was about 11 years old, and it leveled me. I was absolutely so terrified, so inspired, I thought it was such an epic, beautiful story, and I didn't have any idea what I was getting into when I went to see it. So I've always had a special place for that musical, and so one day, who else? How about the people waving frantically in the back?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Get it together, girl. Get it together. Okay.
Part one.
Do
you actually get your eyebrows shaved for the movie? And part two, do you enjoy it? And do you like the way your eyebrows are?
Part one. Yeah, I really do get my eyebrows shaved for the movie. Not all the way off, which is probably worse. I keep like, a little sliver of eyebrow. And part two, I would say the eyebrow work is probably my